All right. So the number 4 is containerizations and operating system containers. So when we think of things like Docker and lightweight virtualization, obviously that's a super new technology. And so this gap that when we talk about at the end of this is not going to be very far out there, right? Well,
Ah,
it turns out that operating system containers actually goes back to 1979 when it comes to Unix, and specifically version 7 of Unix, when they introduced the chroot system call, and that anybody that's used Linux or Unix type operating systems is very familiar with. So originally, when it came to the Bell Labs variant of Unix, the team, when we're talking about people like Bill Joy and others from the Unix community, they implemented chroot in 1979, and later the FreeBSD developers created jails in the 2000s, and Sun Microsystems developed Solaris zones in
Solaris
2004.
zone.
Then when Linux came around, their modern containers emerged from works by Google and others in 2013, and other open source communities eventually led to Docker.
And LXC is pretty much the big name there. If you're playing in the container space, most of the stuff is LXC, LXD. Even though it's managed, Docker is not a container. Docker is an orchestrator, just like
Correct.
Kubernetes is.
So at its root, through this process with chroot, and no pun intended, what you can do is you can actually trick the system into thinking that certain directories are the system root directory, thereby isolating its file access. So it thinks that it is in the root access, even though it's in some other file structure that you've created. So therefore, you've created a containerized area where you cannot escape. And that's really what we're talking about. And then that's now led to the ability to then create more containerized approach.
When did it go mainstream?
Went mainstream with Docker in 2013. And I think that this is something that has become really, really popular. Lou and I are running, Docker and other container systems on things like our Synologies at home. And we know lots of people that are doing that. You can run it on any desktop that you have. You run Windows, Linux, Macintosh. You have Docker and other containerized kind of systems there. So we're talking about a gap from initial concept to popularity of 34 years, from 1979 to 2013. That's a pretty significant gap. And I think that that's pretty interesting.